So the final episode of Akashic Records has finally arrived, and I have to say, it was a good ending. It didn't wow me, it didn't blow me away, but I think it did exactly what it should do for a series such as this one. It's not one of those, like, go read the light novel ending, it's not one of those, it wraps everything up, but what it does brilliantly, so if they did make a season 2, there is still room to do a bunch of content for, but if you also wanted to just jump into the source material, there is obviously more story hooks that are going to keep you interested. But for someone like me who is pretty much satisfied, I mean, yes, there is still more story hooks and just kind of plot points that got introduced, but for myself, I feel like Glenn's story is at a really good stopping point that, really, if they made more anime, I would definitely watch, but for what they did, they wrapped up his story arc, I thought, nicely, and it was a really interesting and just kind of satisfying conclusion, looking at where Glenn is comparing to where he started out, and especially when you look back at his past and who he was, which really, he was nothing more than a glorified mage killer, really, at the end of the day. So I really liked how they end this. It wasn't one of the best endings I think we'll see in the past few seasons, but I respect the ending quite a lot because with these types of series, the most you usually get, in terms of the overall series, like not just the ending, is mediocre or just horrible. Like that's what you get with these Magic Academy series. And this series at the core was just good. It didn't go, like, amazing. There definitely were some amazing, just kind of moments off and on. Glenn himself, you could definitely say, is an amazing character. But at the core, it feels like the anime just wanted to be a good show. Not try to be amazing, and not just go to the cliches and just the garbage that we constantly see every single season, but just wanted to be a solid show. And it's sad, but honestly, that's a great thing for this anime industry, is just having a good show that does something in a very, like, these school settings with teenage characters, like, everything about this show is something that, in theory, should sell very well. Merchandise, Blu-rays, light novels, everything like that. But they didn't just roll with the, well, we got cute girls, we got the school setting, we got the, you know, the skanky outfits, we got the badass main character. Instead, they at least gave some life to these characters, and for that, I'm thankful. The past 12 weeks have been a really enjoyable experience. Not every episode was perfect, there was some pacing issues off and on, but at the core, because they adapted so much material, I felt like I got a more fleshed out story than a lot of these 12 episodes, go read the light novel, go read the manga anime usually are, and I just had a really good time with this series. I thought it was really interesting watching Glenn this episode more or less kind of go back to his old ways, and you could see just the anger and just the bloodthirst in his eyes, which actually does scare Sistine. And I really liked how the anime actually animated his eyes when Sistine actually snaps him back into it, and you see his eyes go back to the kind of wide-eyed, cheerful Glenn. Just the overall episode, it was so just kind of like, you knew what was going to happen, you knew he was going to barge into the wedding, you knew that he was going to fight this guy, and you knew he wasn't going to die, but I just liked how they handled the execution, even though it wasn't that kind of like jaw-dropping or just wow. It was fun and it knew exactly what it needed to be, but it also added a couple, just a little few sprinkles of just very kind of like interesting content off and on, like the fact that Sistine actually had to help Glenn in order for him to overcome his opponent, which a lot of these series would just have the main character be a badass, get a power-up, or do something that we've never seen all season, but he pulls it out of his ass just willy-nilly, and then somehow clears the opponent, just he wins everything and then he gets his harem at the end of the season. Instead, they went the route of, no, Glenn, like, may be strong, but he's not good enough to beat this opponent just yet, so we actually relied on Sistine's help. The fact that they did that, which I wish I didn't have to say, that's impressive for anime, but it kind of is when it comes to the Magic Harem series, which hopefully other anime will take note, because this was a solid season. I mean, the fact that Fuckboy wasn't really Fuckboy, but in the fact just someone that Glenn knew in his past, and he was just kind of manipulating Glenn to get into this position, that was unexpected, I will give you that. I actually thought he was just a fuckboy doing just his evil deeds, so I didn't see him actually killing the real guy and taking his place. So that was a little unexpected, and also Sistine actually helping Glenn to overcome this obstacle. I didn't see either of those two coming, but the rest of the episode was pretty much run-of-the-mill, nothing too out of the ordinary, but the execution was really well done, and it made it to be a final, just really solid final episode. And this series was fun. I think there was moments of just really like, wow, I never saw this coming. The animation at certain times was really good, like even with Glenn's eyes, like I previously mentioned in this episode. You really saw the anger and just bloodthirst in his eyes, and how they animated to switch back to his wide eye was beautiful, and just the overall magic and how they animated that was good. This series was just good. It didn't really feel like it was trying to set a record. It didn't feel like it was trying to break cliches and become something completely different. Instead, it felt like at times it wanted to twist things that we know and love, or sometimes we just hate in the anime industry, and make it into something that's enjoyable, and that we don't constantly roll our eyes to. It's not a perfect series, but at the core, it was good, and that's all it really needed to be, and I'm really happy I spent my time with this series. It was fun, it was enjoyable, it was funny, and it had its moments off and on that were really amazing. Like I said, if they make a season 2, I'll definitely watch, but I feel quite content seeing Glenn at the end of the episode actually be a damn good teacher, and his students looking up to him. When you compare him in the first few episodes, these students all look down on him. I just thought it was an overall really great progression for his character, and I feel like most of the characters in terms of the central cast, Rumia, Sistine, Riel, they all got their arc, they all got their time to shine, and though we never saw the conclusion to some of their dreams and what they were building up to with certain of them, you know, that's season 2 or read the light novel content. But at the core, I think it did enough that it needed to, that I'm satisfied. If they make more, hey, I'll watch more. But I feel no rush in terms of like going to read the light novel or anything like that. I'm very content with what I got. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What did you think of the ending? What did you think of the series overall? Because I thought this was a pretty damn good series. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And before you leave, smack that like button to show your support. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.